Hello everyone, welcome to the video lecture series on object-oriented programming through Java. We are learning about exception handling concept. So in our last video, we learned about what is nothing but an exception, like what type of errors can be possible while programming, and under that we have observed like runtime errors are referred as exceptions. And if you want to handle these exceptions, that means whenever there is an exception, it will stop the normal flow of execution of your program, but you don't want to happen that one. Then we can handle these exceptions by using this throwable class and exception class, any one of these two, right? Or to handle these exceptions, we can make use of these five keywords: try, catch, throw, throws, and finally. In our last class, we learned in detail about how a try keyword, catch keyword, and finally keyword are used. Okay, so in today's class, we are going to learn about this throw and throws. So before going to learn about this throw and throws, what we are going to do is, I just want to highlight some points here. It is like normally whenever we are talking about exceptions, exceptions are of two types. Keep note down all of you. Exceptions are of two types. Exceptions are of two types. First type, it is they are called as predefined exceptions, or you can have user defined. We can have predefined exceptions, we can have user defined exceptions. Now what are called as predefined exceptions? These exceptions are identified and generated by the compiler, like means like with the Java software itself, some exceptions are predefined, and whenever those exceptions are raised, those exceptions are taken care by that software itself. Those exceptions called as predefined. Now user defined exception is nothing but we are defining our own exception, and if some exception is raised, you want to design your own exceptions, and if you want to design your own conditions, then if you want to handle those exceptions, then that is called as user defined exceptions. Now as of now, we have learned about predefined exception. Like in the last class, we have learned about arithmetic exception. Arithmetic exception is of again a predefined type only, right? Now coming to predefined, again this predefined is divided into two more types. Those are called as checked exceptions. I'm talking about predefined. Okay, checked exceptions, and the second category is unchecked exceptions. Both are predefined exceptions only. Whatever we have checked exception and unchecked exceptions, both are predefined only. Now what is this unchecked exception? What is this checked exceptions? Okay, checked exceptions are those exceptions that are raised at the compile time. Okay, you have to note down this point, all of you. Checked exceptions are those things which are raised at compile time. Such exceptions are called as checked exceptions. Okay, and if there are any checked exceptions, we are not going to handle those checked exceptions. It will be handled by the if you want, we can give an option to the computer also. That means we can handle, or it is not required for us to handle also. Okay, let us learn about that later. But remember, checked exceptions are exception that are generated at compile time. And what is this unchecked exceptions? Unchecked exceptions are generated at runtime. Okay, unchecked exceptions are generated at runtime. Now if you see here is a table where as an example I have highlighted some exceptions as checked exceptions and some as unchecked exceptions. We have other types also, but as an example I have given 6 here and 6 here. Okay, now what are all the checked exceptions? These are all the exceptions like class not found exception, interrupted exception, class not found exception, interrupted exception, IO exception. These exceptions are called as checked exceptions, and these exceptions are raised at the time of compile time. Okay, now coming to unchecked exceptions, which are called as arithmetic exceptions, class not like class cast exception, array index out of bounds exception. These are all your unchecked exceptions, and these will be raised at runtime. Are you following? So you see, class not found is nothing but, suppose if you are not creating any class and but you are trying to create an object of that one, in that case you will be getting a class not found exception, and it will be raised at compile time. Similarly, any sort of IO exceptions, or you any file is not found and still you are trying to access that file, then that type of exceptions are called as checked exceptions, and that will be raised at the compile time. Okay, if any checked exceptions is available, then you can handle the exception in two ways. Okay, checked exceptions can be handled in two ways. First way is you can use try catch. I am talking about checked exceptions. Checked exceptions can be handled in two ways. First way is you can use try catch option, or else you can go with the throw keyword. Okay, you can go with the throws keyword. Whereas if you want to handle unchecked exceptions can be handled manually only, where you have only one way of doing that, that is by using try and catch only. Okay, I hope you all are following, using try catch only. I'll repeat once again. Whenever you are using checked exceptions, these checked exceptions are generated at compile time. And if you want to handle these checked exceptions, you all know what do you mean by handling. Handling is nothing but you don't want to stop the execution, you want to continue with the normal flow of execution. Now, if you want to handle these checked exceptions like class not found, file not found exceptions, you have two ways. You can either use try catch or you can use throws. How to use these throws, I'll tell you. Okay, and the other option is, in the last class we learned about arithmetic exception. You can remind, you can just recall that arithmetic exception, array index out of bounds exception. All these exceptions are unchecked exceptions which will be raised at runtime. Now, if you want to handle that runtime exceptions under unchecked exceptions, then you have only one way of having this try catch option. What is this try catch? All the statements you need to put it in the try, and what are all the alternate statements you want to execute in case of any exception statement, then you need to write those statements in the catch. You are very familiar with this try and catch. Got it? Now we need to understand how these throws can be used. Okay, whenever you want to use throws, instead of writing try and catch, what you can do is you can use throws keyword. Note down all of you, what is this throws. So let us see about this throws keyword now. So third one is throws. Now, if you want to use this throws keyword, always remember throws keyword, if you are handling a predefined exceptions, you can use throws keyword only for the checked exceptions. For unchecked exceptions, you can't use this throws keyword. That you need to make a note, all of you. Okay, and if you want to use this throws exception, it is nothing but you are not going to handle the exception. You are telling the system to handle the exception. To do that task, what you will be doing is, let us consider your function. As an example, I am telling your function name is show. Now, there may be a chance like this function, in this function, okay, this is the function, and there may be a chance like there are some statements here, and in this function there may be a chance like some statements may raise exceptions. Okay, now if this statement may raise exception, then we have an option of using try and catch. But if you don't, try and catch means you are going to handle that exception, but if you don't want to handle that exception, you want the system to handle that exception, in that case what you need to tell is you need to use a keyword called throws keyword, where that should be connected with your method name, where you need to write throws. What type of exception it is going to throw, that you need to specify. See, in try and catch, in catch you are going to tell what type of exception it is handling. Similarly here, if you want the system to handle the exception whatever may be raised here, you need to write throws. Let us consider it raises arithmetic exception. Okay, let us consider it raises arithmetic exception, then sorry, it raises only we should not write arithmetic exception. Why? Because arithmetic exception is under unchecked exception. You should not write arithmetic exception, right? So we need to write any one of these exceptions. Suppose if any one of these exception, let us take IO exception, then you need to write IO exception. I'm repeating once again, unchecked exceptions cannot be handled through throws keyword. Only checked exceptions can be handled. That's why IO exceptions I have written. IO exception is a part of your checked exception. Or else if you know, like if any class not found exception can be raised, then you can write class not found. In that way you can go with the throws keyword. Got it? So that is about predefined exception. Predefined is nothing but nothing but these exceptions are already defined. They fall in two categories, checked and unchecked. So you should be very clear with what is checked and what is unchecked. Checked is nothing but these exceptions will be raised at compile time and they can be handled using try, catch or throws. But coming to checked exceptions, these can be raised with runtime only, at runtime only. So these are all the examples like arithmetic, array index, out of bounds exceptions, but they can be handled only using try and catch. So this is about your predefined. I hope you all are clear with this concept of predefined. Okay, now let us see in detail, like if you want to design your own exception and if you want to throw that exception, in such a case how you are going to use throw and throws, we'll learn in detail. At that time it will be clear to you all what is this throws and throw. Okay, I hope throws is clear to you all. Throws is nothing but unchecked exceptions if you are raising, and if you want the system to handle that one, then you can use this statement of throws. Okay, now let us see what is this user defined exception in detail. Okay, what is this user defined exception? I am repeating once again. User defined exceptions are nothing but if you want to have your own condition or constraints as exceptions, then you can go here with your user defined exceptions. What is this? To add our own constraints, then we can go with constraints as exceptions. Okay, then such a thing is called as a user defined exceptions. What type of examples? Let us see some example. Like you want your college name should be only Christ, but instead of giving if any person is giving other than Christ, you want to raise an exception like saying the college name you have given, whatever you have given is wrong, you should give only Christ. So in that case, if you want to generate any exception, or else you want to have whoever is filling the form or whoever is giving the data, the age should be age is of 18 years only, but if it is below 18 or above 18 also it is not possible. Then in such a case, if you want to have such an exception, see these exceptions are not predefined exceptions. We are writing these exceptions like college name should be Christ only, other than Christ whatever you give, it will be raising a exception, isn't it or not? We want to have a constant like that. That means this is user defined, these are not system defined, isn't it or not? So such a thing if you want to have, then you can create your own exception. That means, what do you mean by that one? You are manually raising the exceptions. Understood all of you? So using user defined exceptions, you are manually raising your exception. That means you are designing your own exception and you are manually raising the exceptions also. That means you need to understand here, whenever you are talking about user defined exceptions, you have to create your exceptions and then you have to handle the exception. I hope you all are following these things. What we need to do, whenever you are working with user defined exceptions, you have to create the exception and you have to handle the exception also. Okay, now let us see how to create the exception. Now how to create the exception? So keep you adding all of you, creating the exception. how to create the exception? Whenever you want to create any exception, the only process we have is we need to create one class. Okay, first step, all of you note down. We will be seeing an example also. Create a class. This class can be any class. Okay, any class name can be given. And always this class should extend. This class should extend. What is this class? This class is nothing but you are creating your own exception. Now what is this class? This class you have to convert that one to an exception. So whatever class you are creating, the class should extend exception class. Why? Because we have a predefined class called exception class, where we have a predefined class called exception class, where all the predefined exceptions are defined, like arithmetic exception, array index, out of bounds exception, class not found exceptions are all defined there. But if you want to create your own exception, then you need to make that one, into this exception class. So that's why you have to create one class, and that class should be extended by this exception class. Okay, so whatever class you are creating, that class should extend this exception class. Okay, after that, if you want to handle this one, once you have created your own exception, you have to handle the exception. To handle the exception, what you have to do, we'll see now. Okay, so note down the step to be done for handling the exception. Okay, so for handling the exception, the thing you need to do is you are going to use the throw keyword. Okay, whenever you want to handle any user defined exception, you need to use the throw keyword. How you are going to use the throw keyword? You need to write this syntax. The syntax is like this: use throw. That means you need to create a new object for that exception whatever you have created. See, you will be creating one exception here. Let us call that one is my exception, right? Then you need to create an object of that exception using this throw, like throw new. Let us call my exception, and then you need to create an object like this. So these are the two-step process you need to follow whenever you are working with a user-defined exception. What are the two steps? We need to create the exception, that is your own user-defined exceptions can be created. How to create that one, I'll tell you. Okay, I'll show you one example also here how you can create your own exception. What is the thing? You need to create one class. Let us call that class name is my exception. Sorry. Okay, and what you need to do, you need to whenever you are creating any exception, it is told like you need to extend this exception class. So extends, okay, exception, you need to write like this, and then you can write your own statements here. Got it? So that's why I have created my own exception here, my exception. That's why whenever you want to handle that one, you need to create an object of your class. To understand this one, let us see one example where we'll be creating our own user defined exceptions, and we'll see how you are going to handle that. Okay, so let us open one notepad first. So what is my main aim here is in this, I want the student, I will be asking the person to enter the college name. Suppose if he is not giving the college name as Christ, then I want to raise an exception. Okay, so what I am going to do is I am writing class. Okay, let us call my class name is test exception. Follow carefully all of you this example. My class is test exception. Here in this I am writing public static void main. I am writing the basic statements first, what are all the things required. Okay, so in the main method, now what I am going to do is I want to ask the user to enter one to enter the college name. Okay, so before that I am taking one string, let us call s1 equal to, I am storing Christ as a name in that. Okay, now what I am going to do is I will be asking the user to enter the college name. Enter college name. Right, all of you? Now I want to read this one. You all know to read this one we need to use scanner class. So let me create one scanner class object. Okay, now whenever you are using scanner class, obviously you need to import a package here. Import java.util.star. This is clear to you all. Okay, coming back to this one, now I am reading, let us call, I am storing my college name in a variable called C. So s dot next is the method which is used to read the string. You all know about this. We have learned in detail about the string handling functions, right? Now what I want to do is I want to compare whatever the name is given, college name is given, whether it is Christ or not. If it is not Christ, then I want to raise my own exception. Now let me write the statement first. What is the statement? I want to check if whatever college name is given is equals of S1. What is S1? Christ. Are you following? If it is not equal, that means whatever college name is given by the user, if it is not equals to S1, then what I want to do? I want to raise an exception. What type of exception? I want to raise a user defined exception. Okay, because here we don't want to have an arithmetic exception or array index out of bounds exception. That is not our main aim. If you want to raise that, that can be automatically generated, but here you want to raise your own exception. What is that exception? Then whenever you want to work with your own exception, you can see here we need to follow these two steps. What are the two steps? Create your exception first. So before using any exception here, we need to create our own exception. So before this class or after this class, let us create our own exception first. So what is this process here? You need to create one class. Okay, let us call our exception is my exception. It can be any name. Okay, and whenever you are creating your own exception, it should extend exception. I hope you all are following. Now in this I am creating one constructor. Why? Because while creating the object here, it will be calling the constructor by default, isn't it or not? So I am creating one constructor. Okay. Now in this what I am going to write is, let me have one output statement saying like, you have entered wrong college name. Just I want to have this line as my output. Okay, so this is the end of my exception. So I have defined my exception. Now I need to handle the exception. That how, when you are going to handle, whenever, see here in this case, whenever you are having like the college name whatever is given, if it is not equal to Christ, in that case you want to handle the exception. How to handle the exception? You need to use a throw keyword. So throw. Okay, you need to create an object of your own exception. So how to create an object? Using new operator. New. What is your exception name? My exception. Very simple. Okay, so that's it. And after that let us consider you want to have one output statement. You can have an output statement. Finally I want to give thank you. That's it. So this is the end of our main method, and this is the end of your test class. Understood all of you what I have done? I have defined my own exception, right? In that my exception name is my exception only, and it has to extend the exception class, right? And remember, where is this exception class is defined? It is defined in java.lang package. Okay, now here I have taken one college name which is stored in S1, and I am asking the user to enter one college name and which is stored in C, and I am comparing that C, whatever college name is given, is Christ or not. If it is not Christ, then I am throwing my exception. That means here the object will be created. What happens? This will be object will be created. Throw means we are handling manually. That means we are only creating the object and we are throwing that. Okay, and whenever you are creating the object, obviously the constructor will be called, you will be getting this output. Okay, let us run this program, and if any error is displayed, we'll see, I'll tell you what is the remedy for that. Okay, so let us run this program. Okay, before that I think we need to save this. Okay, so let us run our program. Okay. What is our program name? Java C test exception.java. Now you see, you got an output, you got a problem here saying unreported exception. What do you mean by that one? You are using throw. That means you are creating an object and you're throwing that. Now there should be something where that object should be manually handled or it should be system handled. If you want that object, whatever you are throwing, it should be handled through the system, then I told you like we need to use throws. Isn't it or not? We need to use throws keyword, right? So throws, what type of exception you are going to do here? What type of exception? Exception. Okay, are you understanding what I am telling? As it is showing unreported exception. What do you mean by unreported exception? We have created an object and we are throwing that one. Now whatever exception is raised, that has to be handled manually or it has to be handled through the system. If you want the system to handle that one, then you need to use throws keyword and you need to tell that exception is going to raise. Isn't it or not? Are you following, all of you? Now what you need to do, you can use throws and you can add this one. Okay, so let us run this program and see if any error is generated. No error is generated, you can see here. And let us run this program. Okay, it is asking to enter the college name. So I will be giving ABCD, or initially okay, ABCD I'll give college name. Now you see, whenever I am giving ABCD, as it is not equal to Christ name, whatever I am giving, it is generating an exception. Then what happens? It will be handled by the system, because throws keyword is telling like you have to handle, the system has to handle, no need of using try and catch. Okay, in that case, new my exception is nothing but it is calling the constructor and it is saying like you have entered a wrong college name. That's why you have entered a wrong college name, and as you told like the system has to handle, that's why you are getting exception in thread main. It is telling like that. Okay, exception in thread main, my exception, because my exception, you got that exception. And if you see, we did not get the output thank you also. Why? Because whenever an exception is raised, you told the system has to handle, so it has stopped the execution from here. But if you want to handle this one and if you want to continue, so you don't want the system to handle, but as a user you want to handle the exception, you have created your own exception, that is okay. You all are understood about how to use this throw keyword also. But if you want to continue the execution and you want to handle, then obviously we need to use this throw and try and catch only. So let us remove this one. Okay, I will put this entire statement in try. I hope you all are following these things. Okay, so try is from here to here. So this is if try. Okay, and whenever you are writing try, you need to have its associated catch. Now what type of catch, what type of exception it is going to handle? My exception type only it is going to handle. So let us write my exception, sorry, let us handle my exception. is object. If in the last class we learned arithmetic exception, that is predefined, now it is user defined exception, right? So here as part of catch, whenever you are using, you can have your own system.out.println. What I want to type here is, you have entered, please enter, okay, college name as Christ, or you can write college name should be Christ. Okay, this is the end of the catch. Why we are modifying this one with try and catch? Because we want to execute this statement also. If you want the system to handle this one, it will stop the execution there and it will not execute this one. But if you want to handle the exception, then obviously we need to put that one in try and catch. Even if it's predefined or user defined, if you want to handle, you need to use try and catch. Okay, so throw we have used, and this one we have kept. Now let us run this program and see how it will be executing. Okay, no errors are there. Now it is asking for the, now if I give ABCD, obviously it is not equal to ABCD, it has to raise the exception. That means object of my exception should be created and it will go here and you have to get this output. It will come back and this exception catch, the object will be thrown here like this. Okay, so object will be thrown here, it will handle that object and you will be getting college name should be Christ, and then you need to get thank you, right? So let us see whether we are getting that. Yes, we are getting that. See, you have entered wrong college name. Why we got this line of code? Because while creating the object, the constructor will be called, so that's why you have entered wrong college name. We got that one. I think the wrong spelling is okay. Okay, next, college name should be Christ. Why we got that one? Object is created and it will be thrown out of this try. Who will be catching that one? My exception catch block will be taking that object and it will be displaying. Our remedy for this solution is this one. We need to get this line as an output. So college name should be Christ, and after executing try and catch, you will be getting thank you. I hope you all are clear up to now. Okay, now I want to add one more constraint where I want the age should be 18 only. Okay, so observe carefully what I am doing. My age should be, I will be asking the user to enter the age. So let us follow the same thing. What I am asking? I am asking the user enter age. Okay, so I will read the age and I will store that age of integer type. Okay, int a I am storing, next int. So up to here all of you clear. These things are same. College name should be Christ. If it is not Christ, you will be getting an exception, but it will continue the execution. It will come here, age is 18 and you are asking the user to enter the age and it is stored in A. Okay, 8. Now you are checking if age, that means whatever age you have given is equal to age value or not. Or else if you don't want to have this one, you can simply write whatever age you are giving, that is 18 or not, you are doing, you are comparing. If it is not equal to 18, that means if the entered age is not equal to 18, then again you want to raise the exception. What you can do? You can use same thing. Okay, what you are doing? I am writing if age is not equal to true, again I am writing one try block. Okay, in that try block I am adding, if age is not equal to 8, I am again 18, I am again throwing an exception. Observe why I am writing this. Okay, and in the catch block I just want to have a statement like age should be 18. Okay, so let us run this program and see what sort of modification we need to do. Okay, understood all of you? First, this try and catch is for college name. Now this try and catch is for age. Okay, so let us run this program and see. Okay, Now it is asking college name ABCD. I am giving ABCD. Obviously you have entered wrong college name. College name should be Christ. So the exception has been raised here, and it has been handled successfully. Now it is asking us to enter the age. So let us give the age as it should not be 18. We need to test with that, 19. So if you are entering 19, what you are doing, it is not equal to 18. So throw my exception, object is created, that means constructor is called. Again you have entered the wrong college name, but we are talking about age. You should have some message that should be reflecting about age, isn't it or not? Then what you need to do, we can convert this my exception where we don't have any parameter, that can be converted with a single parameter where you can have your own customized message here also. That means instead of writing this message here, okay, what I am doing, I am displaying the message here. Now whenever you are creating any exception, like in this case college name you are talking, see, at that time you are calling my you are creating an object of my exception, you are comparing about the college name. In that case you can pass that one as your parameter. I hope you are all following what you are doing. So you are writing here what you have done. At the time of creating the object of an exception only, you are passing one string, and that string will be copied here and you will be getting the same message. Similarly, at the time of checking for the age also, you can have your own message here. What I want to print, you have entered wrong age. I want to have a message like that. Okay, and then you can have your own customized message. So what we have done, we have converted our exception as a parameter exception constructor as a parameterized constructor where we want to have our own message. See, in case of college name also you are getting you have wrong college name, and in case of wrong age also you are getting wrong college name only, but we want to have your customized exception. Okay, so let us run this program and see whatever I am talking, whether we are getting that sort of output or not. Okay, ABCD. Obviously you will be getting, you have entered wrong college name should be Christ. That is given in your exception class. Now it is asking age, so I will be giving 19. You can see here you have entered wrong age. Earlier you have entered wrong college name. Now you have got your own customized message. So age should be 18. Thank you. So thank you will be executing this. To execute this statement only, we have kept we have converted that one to throw. Using a convert, we have removed the throws and we have made this into try and catch. Okay, or else you can put this one in finally also. You all know what is the use of finally. What are all the closing statements you want, what are all the statements you want to execute at the end. All the statements can be kept in the finally. Okay, so this is our let us give Christ. So if you are giving Christ, obviously no statement should be displayed, that's why the name is correct. And if you give 19, see, you have given the wrong age. Let us have one more test case. I'll give ABCD, then it is showing the wrong college name and you have got the college name should be Christ, and I'll give 18. Then age is correct, so that's why exception is not raised and it is showing thank you. Let us have one more test case, okay, where I'll give both the things as correct, Christ, and age is also 18. So no exceptions are raised and you have got the out. I hope you all are clear with these concepts of how user defined exception. You have created your own exception and you have thrown and you have handled that exception also. Whereas coming to predefined exceptions, no need to design your predefined exceptions like that. They have been already defined. If you want, you can throw arithmetic exception, or else they can be generated automatically also. Right? If you want to forcefully throw, then you can go with the throw keyword. But as and when they generates, and if you want to handle that can be automatically done also in case of predefined exception. But in case of user defined exception, we have to throw them. It is our responsibility to throw them, because system can't understand those exceptions. Right, all of you? Now you may be getting a simple doubt like, why we need to handle this exception. Like, there may be an error here, then why you're coding that in a wrong way and why you're handling those exceptions. That is a valid doubt from your student point of view. What is the why we are coding like this and why we are having these many test cases? Because see, as a developer, there is a wrong here, and you should not give your college name as a Christ, isn't it or not? But once the project has been developed and if you give it to your end user, he may not be knowing that, right? Are you understanding? So whenever he gives the wrong input, an exception should be raised and he should be given an alert message saying like, you have done here wrong and you have to do like this. Such sort of messages can be displayed through the exceptions. So that is the requirement of having all the different cases should be to be added in your code. As a developer, but once it is hand over to the person, to the end user, he may not be knowing the things. So that's why we need to take care of all the different cases of exceptions, and you need to handle those exceptions also. Okay, one simple example, let me tell you. Like a person in a bank, they will be working with the numbers, isn't it or not? Now at some case, unknowingly he is performing division by zero. As a developer, we know, like whenever you have developed any bank project, like as a developer you should not perform division by zero. But once the project is handed over to the bank, they may not be knowing, unknowingly they are trying to perform this division by zero option. In such a case, what you need to do, you need to give an alert message, or you need to handle that exception. You need to have a code for that one, right? Where even if he is performing division by zero, we should not stop the execution. You need to give an alert message to the bank person saying like, you are trying to perform /0, isn't it or not? In that way, exception, in that is the reason why we need to handle the exceptions. Okay, I hope you all are clear with these concepts of how we have handled the user defined exceptions, right? And what are all the predefined exceptions we have, what is nothing but checked and unchecked exceptions, and all these three types of keywords. I think you all clear with this try, catch, throw, throws, and finally. Okay, so with this, exceptions handling concept is clear. I hope you all are clear with this concept. So let us all meet in our next lecture with a new concept.